So guys, in today's session, we would be studying three topics. So first topic is about the functions, what are functions? Then we will study about the procedures, what what is difference between functions and procedures, and then last is pivots. And if time permits, we will study about the dynamic programming. Okay. So what is functions? So let's say if you want to write a reusable code, then function becomes very handy. Okay, reusable code, then functions become very handy. Okay. How about if we see the syntax of function? Let us see the syntax of the function. So first is we would be writing create function. This is a keyword, any function name. This could come any name followed by parameter name and its data type. Okay. And this function, what data type it wants to return, that's where returns keyword will come and its data type. Okay. After this function, there are two keywords. One is deterministic and non-deterministic. So you can write according to your problem statement, whether you want to write deterministic or non-deterministic. Deterministic means for the same input, we are getting the same output. And non-deterministic means for different inputs, we are getting different outputs. Okay. This is the function definition. Now I'll write a begin keyword. We will write begin keyword. After begin, here your body will come, logics, whatever logic you want to write, and then it is end. Okay. Before that, you need to also write delimiter. There is a keyword delimiter. What is delimiter? We'll talk about that. So let's say whenever I am writing a SQL statement, let's say if I'm writing, I want to use some database, use test and semicolon. So this semicolon is nothing but a delimiter. This semicolon is nothing but a delimiter. So that's where we can change this delimiter and I can give, let's say, $. So now my delimiter is $. So see, this is my function body. This is my begin. Here I will write the function logic and I will end this function using the delimiter $. You can write anything. You can write double slash anything. After this, I will again change the delimiter back to semicolon. So this is a basic syntax. Let us see the problem statement. Let us try to solve one of the problem and see how functions works. Let us use this test database. Use test. Okay. Select star from employee 1. So let's say I have this table in which I have employee ID, name, salary and date of birth. Now we are interested in finding the age of each employee. We are interested in finding the age of each employee. So what you would be doing? You would be doing select. Let's say we want to select all the columns. You have the current date. Okay, from this current date, you will select the year. Okay, you would select the year. If I show you select star from current date, so that's select current date. Let us select the current date. So see, it is giving you today's date. Okay, so select star comma year from current date minus year from date of birth would be your age of the employee. So see, I'm getting the age. Now instead of writing this again and again, so let's say there are several tables, there are 10 to 20 tables, and you don't want to write this logic again and again. What you want that, okay, I will call a function, I will call a function, and in that function I will pass only date of birth, and that function should return me age. Okay, we will write a function, okay, which will which will take a input parameter as date of birth and return us return the age. Okay, so we are writing a simple function which will take the input parameter as date of birth and return the age. Okay, so using the same syntax, I don't want to write this logic again and again for all the tables. This is for one table, so it is easy. If I want to write it for, let's say, 10 tables, then I need to write this logic 10 times. But I don't want to write this logic again and again, and that's where I want to create a function. Okay. So how to create that function? Okay. So first is create function, and before that is delimiter. So first step is, let us write a delimiter $. Second step is create function. So I'll write create function. Okay. If you see inside the test and function, let me delete all the functions, existing functions. Okay. So that we can talk about those things. Okay. Create function, and let's say calculate age, function name anything, calculate age. Then we are telling that this function will take an input parameter as date of birth. So any parameter name. So let's say we are writing parameter as date of birth. What is its data type? What is the data type of this? Date. It is of date data type. This function, if you see the output of this, it is returning the integer values. It is returning the age, which are the integer value. So this function should return int. It will return int, and then the keyword is deterministic. Why we are writing deterministic? Because for the same input we are getting the same set of output. So that's where I am writing deterministic. Now after this I'll write begin. Okay, and now I'll write my logic here. Let me write my logic here. If you want to define a variable, see, in Python we can directly define a variable, but in SQL, inside a function, if you want to define a variable, then you need to put a declare statement, declare keyword. Okay, declare is used to declare any variable. So let us declare today date a variable, and the data type is date. Data type is date. Okay, intentionally we are doing this. We can do without this also, but intentionally I want to show you that, okay, what is the use of this declare keyword. And I'm now terminating this statement. Now what I'll do is, see here, if I'll write select current date, so I'm getting today's date. See, it is today's date. So I want to save this current date inside this variable. I want to save this current date inside this today's date. So how to do that? So that's where I'll do select current date into today date. Current date into today date. So we have stored this current date into this today's date variable. Okay. Now this function will return this logic. I need year from today date. I need year from today date minus year from the date of birth which user is passing, the parameter which user is passing. Okay, that's it. I could have directly written this year of current date also. No issues in that. but that's where I want to show you how to declare a variable inside the function and how to store the value inside that variable. Now we can end this statement. We can end, and again we can end this function using this delimiter $. After that you will write delimiter and change it back to semicolon. Change it, change it back to semicolon. Okay. Now I would be running this statement. Let us run this. You would see here a function is created. You would see here a function is created. Okay. If I show and refresh it here, so that's where you would see that, okay, a function is created. The calculate age function is created. The parameter is date of birth. The data type is date and it will return integer. Deterministic means it will take the same set of input and it will return the same set of output. In next session, I will show you the use of non-deterministic. How to write a function, and here we will use the keyword as non-deterministic. Okay, so we would get the random input and the outputs. Okay, now how to call a function, call or execute above function. Okay, we'll write select star comma the function name, that is calculate underscore age, and I'll pass the date of birth from employee 1. So see, instead of this logic, what I'm doing is I'm just calling the function, and the output of this I'm renaming the column as age. Renaming the column as age. Okay, let us run this. So see, the moment I run this, so you are getting the same output. You are getting the same output. So this way you could write your reusable functions. This way you could write your reusable functions. Okay. There are few limitations about these functions. Functions are also known as UDFs, that is user defined functions. Functions are also known as UDFs. There are few limitations of the functions. Before talking to the limitation, before we talk about the limitations of the function, let us also understand what are stored procedures. What are stored procedures? Okay. If you got the gist of the functions, so that's where we have called this date of birth inside the function. We have called this date of birth inside the function. We can always execute the function using the select statement. You can always write so let's say I could have passed select calculate age. I could have passed any age. So let's say 1990, 10, 10. Okay. See here, see it is giving me 32. Age is 32. Direct call to the function. Okay. Hard coding the date of birth. I'm directly calling that function. Okay. Now I know that in employees table, I have the various records where date of birth is present. So that's where I'm just calling that using this DOB, date of birth. Okay, the column name. So that's where you are getting this age. That's where you're getting this age. On the similar lines, there is stored procedures also. So what is stored procedure? A stored procedure, it is a set of SQL statements. It is a set of SQL statements with an assigned name. Assigned name. Assigned name which can be stored for later use. So we can again use it. It is similar to functions. It is similar to functions. Let us see the syntax of this. Syntax. Syntax of the stored procedures. So here we'll write create procedure, then procedure name, followed by parameter name, and its data type, okay, its data type. Now here again I'll write begin, the logic. Before that we need to write delimiter, change the delimiter. Let's say this time I'm changing it to /. You can write anything, no issues in that. Okay, here your logic will come, and here it will end, and end this procedure, changing back the delimiter to semicolon. Okay, now you might be wondering what is difference between functions and procedures then. So what is difference between functions and procedures? I see that okay, the syntax are pretty much similar. So let us now understand the difference between functions and procedures. So the first difference is that a function supports only functions, or UDFs, user defined functions, supports only input parameters, whereas stored procedures supports input, output, input, output, or input output parameters. Okay, first difference. Second difference is that functions cannot call stored procedures, whereas stored procedures can call functions. Okay. Third difference. Functions can be called using select statement. Functions can be called using any select statement. So see here I have called the function using the select statement, whereas stored procedures can be called using call statement. So call is a keyword. We'll look into that. Okay, how to call these stored procedures. Functions, it is mandatory, must return a value. It would always return a value. So that's where you are seeing that this is a mandatory keyword, returns int, that is deterministic or non-deterministic. If you see here in procedure, I have not written anything that return int or return float or return any data type. Whereas stored procedures need not to return any value. It is not mandatory. It depends on your logic whether you want stored procedure should return any values or not. Okay. In functions, only select operation is allowed. So let's say here we created the function. You see that only the select statement we could write. We could not write insert, update, delete. Only select statement is supported by function. Whereas stored procedures can handle all the database operations. Okay, so these are the 5 difference, and now you should know what is difference between functions and procedures. Okay, and which one should be used when. Okay, so let us now implement these stored procedures. Okay, so what we'll do, let us create a table. Let's say orders. Create the table orders, very simple table I am creating. Okay, inside that we will write what is my order number. Let's say int 8. Okay, order number int tab. Okay, inside order I want order date of date data type, and let's say I want to what is the total order bill. Okay, order amount that is decimal 12,2. Okay, very simple table I am creating orders in which there is a order number, order date and order amount. That's it. Just creating this table. So you would see that this table is created. Okay, this table is created. Pretty simple table. Let me also check. Let me show you the schema for this. Select star from orders. So see, we have order number, order date, order amount. Now what I'll do, using stored procedures, we will insert the records into this order table. Using stored procedure, we would insert the records into this order table. Why we are using stored procedure? Because see, whenever I will do insert into and then let's say column names, so I need to write all the column names. Okay, then you will write values and you need to again write this statement. So let's say you want to again and again insert the records. Okay, let's say those records are coming from some pipeline. They are dynamic records. So instead of again and again writing this insert statement, what you would do, you will write a stored procedures. So how to write stored procedures? First step is delimiter $, delimiter $, create procedure, okay, let me write caps, procedure name, insert order table. Okay, we are inserting into order table any procedure name. Now this procedure will take three parameters: order number, order date, order amount. So see here I am passing all the parameters. Order number, data type is int 8. Okay, order date, data type is date, and order amount, data type is decimal 12,2. Okay, we have defined the parameters with their data types. Then here we have the begin statement. What is our logic? We want to insert into orders, okay, then values, and this values will come as a parameter. So first one would be order number, second one would be order date, third one would be order amount. Okay, I want to commit the record. Okay, so we are making sure that okay, the record is committed, so that's where we have the commit keyword. Okay, we have the commit keyword. Then and let's say this time let us change the delimiter to double slash. Just to demonstrate you, we can write any delimiter, changing the delimiter back. Okay, so this is a procedure. Here you would see right now we don't have any stored procedure created. Let us run this and let us see whether stored procedure is created or not. So see, a stored procedure is created. If I refresh this, you would see a stored procedure insert ORD table. Insert ORD table is created. Insert ORD table is created. Okay. Now, once we have created the stored procedures, let us execute the stored procedure. We told in above this difference that okay, functions can be called using any select statement, whereas stored procedures can be called using call statement. That's where we would execute the stored procedure using call. So let us call the stored procedure insert order table, and this stored procedure takes three parameters: order number, let's say order number is 1, order date, so let's say order date is current date. Can we pass current date? Let us see, are we able to pass current date or not? Okay, and order amount, order amount is, let's say, 1234.67. Let's see. I'm not sure at this point in time whether the current date would be taken or not. Let us run this. So see, this statement is executed. This statement is executed. Okay. Let us now see, check what are the values inside this order table. Inside this orders table, select star from orders. Let us check this. Select star from orders. So see, the records are inserted. Order number 1, order date, order amount. Getting, guys? So that's where stored procedures are very handy. They can perform any database operations. We can perform any database operation. Now let's say I have given the order amount as wrong. We have the wrong order amount and I want to change this order amount. Ideally it was 12346.7. Okay, the order amount we have entered wrong order amount. Wrong order amount. Okay, it should be 12346.7. Okay, whereas we entered 1234.67. So using stored procedure, let us update the table. So how to do that? Okay, so what I'll do is I will again create a stored procedures. So okay, why you are feeling that this is lengthy? See, this is just a demo. When you will write a complex queries, that's where stored procedures would become very handy. In next session, we will take a live example. Again, we would be again taking our Airbnb rental example. Okay, we haven't talked about all those things. Advanced SQL parts we haven't talked about in this case study. So that's where part 1 and part 2 was just giving you a overview idea about what is the procedures, what is the functions, what are the window functions. Okay. Now in next session, what we will be doing is we would be taking this Airbnb rental case study and I'll show you that how stored procedures becomes very handy. Okay. Now we have entered a wrong order amount. It should be 1234.67, whereas we entered 1234.67. So using stored procedures, let us update the table. Okay. So first step is what? Delimiter. Let's say any delimiter I am writing. Let us write $. Let us create the procedure. Procedure name. So let's say update. Update date order table, any procedure name. Okay, update order table, and I want to take a parameters. So see what I'll take. I want to make sure that okay, against this order number only the order amount is updated. Against so and so order number the order amount is updated. So first parameter I am passing is order number, which is integer. Second parameter I am passing it as order amount, which is decimal, 12,2. Okay, which is decimal 12,2. Now I am writing begin. We know that when we want to update a table, we need to set SQL save updates. We need to turn on this indicator. Updates equals to 0. Okay. Now I will write update table name. What is the table? Orders. Set order underscore amount is equals to the order amount passed by the user, whatever order amount he is passing. We are not sure at this point in time. Where we want to make sure that okay, order underscore number is present in that table and we are only touching that order number which is being given by the user, where order number is equals to ordno. Ordno is given by user. Once table is updated, you need to make sure that you need to again turn off this set SQL save updates. Turning off. Let us now end this using a dollar sign, dollar. Let us write delimiter, semicolon. Okay. Where is the error? Okay, the spelling is wrong. So this is the stored procedures that we have created. Let us run this. Let me close this tab. Let us run this. So that's where you would see the stored procedure is created successfully. Let us refresh it and let us go inside the stored procedure. So see, update or order table is being created. The stored procedure update order table is being created. Let us execute the stored procedure. Execute stored procedure. Okay. We will call using stored procedure using the call keyword update order table. Okay. Order number is let's say 1 and let's say I want to update order amount to 1 2 3 4 5 or 1 2 3 4 6.7. That's it. Close it. It is telling that procedure test UP. Okay, spelling is wrong. UPDT. So see, it is executed successfully. Now let us check whether the table is updated or not. Let us check whether the table is updated or not. Select star from orders. So that's where you would see the table is updated. The records are updated in this table. Getting guys? You can write the complicated stored procedures too, depending on your problem statement. That's where we would see in our next session using Airbnb rental case study. Let's say if you want to drop the procedure, you want to drop function or procedure. So what you can use, let us drop all those things what we created. Let us drop. We can use drop function, drop function, drop function name. So let's say what was our function name? So you would see calculate age, calculate underscore age. Okay. This will drop the function. If you want to drop the procedure, you can write drop procedure and any of the procedure name. So let's say update order table. Okay. Let us run this drop function. So see, function is dropped. Drop update order table. Update order table is been dropped. So guys, I hope you got a brief understanding about the stored procedures and functions. In the next session, we would be seeing live case study and how to use those functions and stored procedures. Okay. Now the next topic and the last topic for today's session comes to be the pivots. I would be closing today's session very early due to some urgent work. That's where I want to cover the pivots. Okay, the last topic for today's session is pivots. So what are pivots? So pivots are nothing but if you want to transform your rows to column, you want to transform the rows to columns. Okay, pivots will help us to transform rows to columns. Okay, it is similar to the pivots in Excel. It is similar to pandas pivot underscore table or pivot function. Okay, so let us see how to pivot a table in SQL. How to pivot a table in SQL. Okay, So for this case study, we would be using the data set select star from pivot stock data. So this is our stock market data. If you see, this is our scripts, this is stock name, this is the year month, we have the open price, we have the closing price, we have the date, formatted date. This is the delta percent, that what is the change, in percent. Okay, open price, close price, and what is the change. Okay, if I scroll down and we have the various scripts, so see the script is changing, and I have data from 2013 till 2018. Okay, till 2018. So that's where you would see a last script, AAPL. This is the script name, and this is the last data till 2018 Feb. Now what I want, I want output like this. Okay, output should be, here should be my column name, that is a name. Okay, I should get here name, then I should get here months, I should get here 2013-02, formatted date 2013-03, 2013-04, and so on till 2018-02. Okay, and below this I should get a script name, that is first script name is AAPL. If you see, for 2013-02, I want a delta percentage here. So 2013-02, the delta percentage is minus 6.88%, minus 6.88%. For 2013-03, for this script AAPL, delta percentage is 1.06%, right? If we see 2013-04, it is 0.2%, and so on. Okay, till 2018-02. Then in the next line, it should take a next script. So what is the next script? If you see, it is AMD. It is AMD. Let me scroll down. It is AMD. Okay. Then next script should come AMD, and 2013-02. The delta percentage is minus 3.49%. 2013-03 delta percentage is 2%. 2013-04 delta percentage is 11.02%, 11.02%, and so on. And similarly, you should get for all the scripts. So we want this type of output. So how to achieve this type of output? So this type of output can be achieved by using the concept of pivots. Okay. In other programming languages, you have a direct keyword as pivots and unpivot, pivot and unpivot. But in SQL, you don't have the direct keyword. Okay, these keywords are missing in MySQL. So to do a pivot, you need to use a case statement. To achieve pivots in MySQL, we would be using case statement. Okay, so now we understood, okay, we want this type of output, and to achieve this we would be using the case statement. So how to do this? I'll write select name, because I want name. Okay, comma, then I want delta percentage for this formatted date. Okay, so I'll write case when formatted date is equals to 2013-02. When formatted date is 2013-02, then you give me, then return me delta percentage. Else you return me null. Okay, again case, this is how we write, right? Case when this, then delta percentage, else return null. Okay, and let us end this case condition. I'll end here, and I will rename this column as 2013 02 from table name as pivot stock data. Let us run this. So see, I'm getting this name, I'm getting the column name, this is script name, and this is delta percentage. But if you notice, we are getting this again and again. Why we are getting again and again? Because we have so many records. Okay, so that's where we have to do a group. We have to do a group by. I want to do a group by name. I want to create a group and do a group by name. Okay, the moment I do group by name, so you would be getting 2013-02 records. See, the script is APL 2013-02. We are getting 6.88. AMD script, the delta percentage for 2013-02 is minus 3.49 and so on. Okay, but here is one problem. Let's say my script name is AAPL and my formatted date, I don't know. Let's say our data is very big, very huge data set, and it could be possible that we have 2013-02 formatted date, and let's say the delta percentage could be 7.49%. I could again have 2013-02 as a formatted date because that is not a unique, and this time I have 6.88%. Okay, I could again have 2013-02 as formatted date, and this time it could be 1.49%. Okay, and so on. So there are repeated values. So what I want maximum of this delta percentage. I want the delta percentage should be maximum. So that's where you would see that when I'm applying a group by name, I want to apply a aggregated function. I will apply a aggregated function as max, because we want a maximum of the delta percentage. For the same year formatted date, I want a maximum delta percentage. So that's where I would apply max function here. See, max I am applying here. It will return me a maximum of delta percentage. And if I run this, so that's where you would see now you are getting a correct outputs. Now we are getting the correct outputs. Okay. We got for 1 year. Okay. Let us try to get it for another year. So I'll put comma. I will put comma. And again I'll copy that statement, whole max condition. We will copy it, change the year to 2013-03 and this also to 03. Okay, so we are changing the year now. That's it. Doing nothing but changing the year. Okay, I got it for 2013-03. Similarly, I could copy this. I could put comma, Control V, change the formatted date to 2013-04 and see I'm getting for 2013-04. Okay, so I have to keep on doing this. So this is the concept of pivot table, but there is a problem with this pivot table. What is the problem? Let's say, let us first select the formatted date, distinct formatted date. Select distinct of formatted date from pivot stock data. Okay, these are my distinct values for formatted date, and let us count this. So see, for 2013-02 I have written the max condition. For 2013-03 I have written the max condition. Okay, max and the case statement. For 2013-04 here we have written the case statement. So for each formatted date I need to write a case statement. So let us count how many case statement we need to write. So for this case study we need to write 61 case statement to achieve this kind of output. To achieve this kind of output till 2018-02 I need to write 61 times case conditions, which is very tedious task and not a good approach. When you have the smaller data set, then you can use this approach and get the output. Then you can use this approach for the pivoting. When you want to do 1, 2, 3 or maximum 5 to 6 rows, then you can use this approach. But 61 times again and again writing this is not a good idea. That's where we would be moving to the dynamic programming concepts. programming concepts. Okay. To move to the dynamic programming, what I will do, let us go back and see this. I'll just copy this whole condition. I'll just copy this whole condition and let us write it here. So see what we are doing. We are selecting the name. If I write this whole case statement in a single line, so you would see some patterns. You would see some patterns. Okay, when I'm writing this whole case statement in a single line, you are trying to see some patterns. What is the pattern here? Here you see that, okay, all these statements are somehow similar. All these statements are somehow similar, except these dates are changing. Except these dates are changing. That's where all the max statement, the 61 max statement which would come here, they would be similar. Okay, only these dates would be changing. Only these dates would be changing. So what I'll do is, this is our static part. Let me copy this. Let me copy this. Okay. If you see the highlighted or the selected statement, this is our dynamic part, static part. From max till this single quote, this is our static part, which is not changing. See, this is not changing for all the max statement. The highlighted thing is not changing for all the case statement. So that's where this is a dynamic part. So what I will do is, sorry, it is a static part. So all the static part I will encapsulate inside the double quotes. So see, this was a static part. What I did, I just wrote this condition and pressed the enter and wrote this static part inside double quotes. Okay. Now this is our dynamic part, which is changing, which is changing. So that's where I'm not touching this. Let us press enter here. If you see from this single quote till this single quote, from this single quote till this single quote, the highlighted area, this is our static part, and this part is not changing for all the case statement. So that's where this part I will again encapsulate inside the double quotes. So here see, I am encapsulating this inside double quotes. This is our dynamic part. So I am not touching this at this point in time. And that if you see at the last, we have the single quotes. In all the max or case statement, we have the single quotes. This is again our static part. We are encapsulating this inside the double quotes. Okay. So what we did till now, all the static part are encapsulated inside the double quotes. Okay. This is our step one. If you see, let us now talk about the dynamic part. This is a dynamic part. Okay. If I run this statement, select star from pivot stock data. So don't you think that this part is a formatted date? This is coming from this column. This is coming from this column. Okay. If you see this dynamic part, this is coming from this column. So what I am doing is changing this dynamic part to the column name, changing this part to column name. That is a formatted date. It is a formatted date. It will keep on changing. And see, my column name is also same. Column name is also same as the formatted date. Whatever is the formatted date, the column name coming in, the same is my column name. Whatever value I am getting here, the same is the column name. So that's where I am changing this dynamic part to the column name. Okay. Because I will get this 2013-02 from this column, 2013-03 from this column, second row, from 2013-04 from this column, third row, and so on. And same is the column name that we are trying to make. Okay. So I got this whole condition. Now what I'll do is I will join this condition. These are the separate conditions. So let's say we have a concat keyword. So using concat keyword, I can concat these strings. So this is my first string. This is my second string. This is my third string. This is my fourth string. This is my fifth string. So using concat, I can concat the n number of strings. So So that's where you would see that here we have concatenated. See, using concat, I have concatenated these strings. Okay. So what I will do is I would just concat all these strings inside a concat function. Inside a concat function. So here I will write a concat. This is my string 1, comma, string 2, comma, string 3, comma, string 4, comma, string 5. So we have made a dynamic string and use the concat function. Use the concat function. Okay. Now what is our next statement? What is our next statement? See, this is not serving my purpose. It means that again and again I need to write this max concat, max concat, max concat 61 times. So it would not serve my purpose. So I want to do a group concat. I want to group all this 61 max statement inside one statement. I need to group all this statement. So that's where I have a keyword. I have a keyword in SQL or a function which is known as group concat. Group concat. Concat is a function, okay, which will concat all these max statements and make it inside a one group. Make it inside a one group. Okay, so that's where we are using the group concat. So step number 2 is we use group concat. Okay. Now this whole statement, why we wrote group concat? Because all this max statement we want to make it as one group. Okay. We want to make it as a single group. So that's where we use this group concat. Now this group concat, I want to store this inside a variable. And so store this inside a variable. So in SQL, when I will create a variable outside the function, we would use set statement and the variable is given by @ and any name. So let's say I will give @SQL equals to any name. Okay, using set, is the key. Using it understand that okay, this is a variable and any name. Okay, now I have defined this and I want to tell that this formatted date is coming from which table, right? So I want to select this. This formatted date is coming from which table? So it is coming from pivot stock data. So I want to select this. I want to select all this thing from pivot stock data. Select all this thing from pivot stock data, and this whole condition, this whole statement, I want to save it inside a variable. I want to save this whole query inside a variable. So using set, I have created a variable. Okay, @SQL is the variable name. What I did, I just used concat to concat all the max condition. Then I encapsulated this inside a group concat, and now I selected this. Select this whole from pivot stock data because this formatted date is coming from pivot stock data. This whole select statement I have saved inside this SQL variable. Now let us run this. Let us try to run this. So see, I ran it and I got an error. It's not an error, it's a warning. It's a warning. So if you see the warning, it is giving us 1260 rows. 13 was cut by group concat. So it has truncated 13 rows. It has truncated the 13 rows. Okay, 13 rows are truncated. Why the 13 rows are truncated in this group concat? Because of the length. Okay, so what I am trying to tell is in above statement 13 rows are truncated by group concat and you end up with a warning. Okay, because the maximum length of group concat is 1024. Okay, so what we will do to overcome this error, to overcome the warning, we will set the group concat max length. So how to set? to overcome. So I'm just setting set group concat max len to, let's say, 1 lakh. Group concat max len to 1 lakh. So see, we have increased the length of group concat. Now let us try to run this and see whether we are getting the error or not. So see, now I'm not getting any error. Now I'm not getting any error. Okay. Let us now select this. Let us see let us check what is there in @SQL. Let us check @SQL variable. What is there inside this? Okay. Select @SQL. So see, if you notice this, see, all the max statement are dynamically calculated, right? Max case when formatted it is this, then delta percent as null and as formatted date is this. Max this 2013, then 2013-04 and so on. So all the 61 max condition are now residing inside this. All the 61 max condition are residing inside this. Okay. Now, second thing we will do is we will take this complete query, the query. Okay. I will take this complete query and I know this whole max condition is now being replaced by @SQL. This whole max condition is replaced by @SQL. Okay. Now, see, this is a variable. So I cannot directly run this query. If I run this query, see, I will get error. So see, I will not get that output what I want. What I want, I'm not able to get that output. So this query is not triggering. This query @SQL is not triggering. Though we are getting the name @SQL, it is changing, but the relevant output is not triggering. So what we need to do, we need to again concat this. In this SQL query, you would see that, okay, this is a static part. This is a static part. Okay. This is static part. Then this is our dynamic part. Then again, it is our static part, which is not changing. Okay. And again, I will do a concat and we'll write all this inside of one variable. Let us write this whole statement inside one variable. Okay. Select @pivot statement. Okay. Select @pivot statement. So this I am writing this inside a variable. Okay. Select concat this @SQL from pivot stock data and group by name. The error, I'm just trying to see the error. Select @pivot statement concat. I am getting error here because of the comma. Okay. So see, we have created this inside a variable. We have again, let us set, not select, my bad. Okay. At the rate pivot statement. So what we did, we created a whole query, whole dynamic query inside this. See, select name, comma, max. So our whole query is now inside a variable. Our whole query is now inside this variable @pivot statement. Now we want to execute this query. Now we want to execute this query. So let us execute the above prepared query. To execute this, you need to do two things. First is prepare statement. First you need to prepare the statement using prepare keyword. Prepare statement using prepare keyword. So what you will do, you will have keyword as prepare. Okay, any name, you can give any name here. So let's say I am giving complete statement, complete pivot statement from @pivot statement. So we have saved this whole variable inside this prepare complete pivot statement and let us run this. Okay, what is the error I have? Statement spelling is wrong. Okay, So see, we have prepared this statement. Now let us execute. Let us execute the query. Let us execute. So how to execute? Using execute keyword. Using execute keyword. So execute complete pivot statement. Execute complete pivot statement. So see, this query is running. If you see here, it is buffering and it is taking some time. It is taking some time. Okay. Let us see why it is taking some time and let us wait to see the output. Let us wait for the output. Okay. So we found out that there is some problem with this query, but let us wait to complete this query and see the output to understand what is the problem with this query. What is the problem with this query? Okay, so we got the output. We got the output and we got the desired output. See, we got all the 10 rows. We got all the scripts. We got all the scripts from 2013 till 2018. We should get the records. But if you see after 2018, again it is repeating. Again it is repeating. Okay. Again it is repeating. See, so it is repeating many times. It is repeating many times. So that's where this query is taking long time. Okay. That's where it is taking a longer time. So what we need to do is, when we are concatenating, I want to concate only distinct records. I want to concate only distinct records because I am getting the duplicate records in this. In this max statement, I am getting the duplicate records. That's where I want to only concate the distinct values. So that's where I am changing this to distinct concate. And let us again run this. Let us again run this. Select @SQL, select pivot statement. Let us uh, select the pivot statement. Let us prepare the query. And now let us execute. See how fast it is. And this way we have created the pivot. We have created the pivot till 2018-02 and we have all the delta percentage for these queries. Okay. This is very advanced level dynamic programming we have used, prepare and execute. So let us just recap what we did in dynamic programming, what we did. Okay. So first step is we started with the pivots. Okay. Since there is no pivot, since there is no pivot in MySQL, so we used case statement to achieve pivots. Okay. But in our case, okay, was there was 61. uh, if we use uh, case conditions, case condition static case condition static case condition in our problem statement, then we need to write 61 times case condition, which would be very tedious, very lengthy process, lengthy and time consuming process. Okay. So to overcome this, we created a dynamic query for case conditions. What we did in this, okay, all the static part, all the static we encapsulated inside the double quotes. Okay. Dynamic part changed to the dynamic column. Okay. Then third step we concatenated all the strings using concate function. Okay. Since there were 61 max of case statement So we used group concat function to group all the case statement in one variable. Okay, one variable. Then we changed the length of group concat, okay, from 1024 to let's say 1 lakh using set group concat max length. Okay,
This
after
this
that,
group concat max length is a keyword, sir.
yes, after that what we did, after that after that what we did is we prepared whole statement inside a variable which is at the rate pivot statement. Okay, now to execute this, to execute a query, to execute query we used two keywords prepare and execute. Okay, what we did in this, we did prepare and that name, the name of the query. So let's say we wrote complete pivot pivot statement pivot statement from the variable name at the rate pivot statement. Okay, now our query is ready to be get executed. Then you can use execute complete pivot statement. That's it. That's it. Okay, so guys, this is all about the dynamic programming. You can go and practice, and if you want to get more hands-on, then you can go through the lead code hard questions. Go and try to solve lead code hard questions. Okay, code hard questions. Okay, it is very, if you get hands-on to this, if you understand today's concept all about this case conditions, pivot stocks, functions, stored procedures, then you are a very good programmer in SQL. So I think guys, that's it from my side for the today's session. I hope you enjoyed today's session and the recordings would be uploaded.